I said in my last discussion video, it seems like every time I am filming in front of this thing, you are gonna hear a rant or discussion, so get ready for this. Hey guys, so today I'm gonna be doing an idea that came up at 11 o'clock at night last night, and I had to wait until this morning to do it, and literally my whole family's downstairs, and I'm up here filming a video. Here's the thing, they're talking about adult stuff, and I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm here. So if you don't know, if you haven't been on my channel, I love Percy Jackson. And I'm a strong hater on the Percy Jackson movies. It seems like anyone who really loves Percy Jackson has a strong hatred for these films. As much as I hate these films with a burning passion, I do thank them for introducing me to the books, but I do have a really strong hatred for them as I've grown older and noticing changes that they made, not like right in front of my face, but with characters and stuff like that. You don't follow entertainment news. Disney's taking over any company existing. They took over Marvel, they took over Lucasfilms, they took over other stuff, but recently they're trying to merge Fox, 20th Century Fox, with Disney. Now, if you don't know who made the Percy Jackson movies, it was 20th Century Fox. So a lot of book fans are like, hey, Disney's getting the rights to Percy Jackson back because Disney published the Percy Jackson books with their publisher. And everyone's been tweeting at Rick Riordan thinking that he has something to do with it, when really he doesn't. The poor man probably gets like thousands of tweets a day asking for like a Percy Jackson animated series. Rick just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you guys straight out. And Rick Riordan's leaked his own emails towards the producers of the Percy Jackson films, and they're hilarious. So I decided today to react to them, read them to you guys, if you haven't been educated enough on them. And I'll talk about things that he said is wrong with the film, you know, stuff like that. Dear God, I'm not gonna do Rick Riordan well, so. Okay, so this is from January 2009. So this was a year before the movie was released, which is really surprising because this movie must have been really like in production when Rick got them. So this is from 2009, a note to producers. So he X's out names of people, but there's sometimes you can notice who he's talking about. I understand that a decision has been made to age the main characters in the film to 17. As no one wants to see this film succeed more than I do, I hope you'll let me share a couple of reasons why this is a bad idea from a money-making point of view. I said this in my last adaptation thing. It's just like, this was a stupid idea. And I know a lot of people that do like reviews of movies and how they adapt to books. I watch The Dom a lot. You guys totally should watch that if you really love looking at film versus book. But he's like, oh, aging up the characters, it's totally fine. I'm like, no, it's a stupid idea. First, it kills any possibility of a movie franchise. Thank you. The producers' heads do not like think. They want to make money. That's literally what producers are there for. They're literally there to see money-making opportunities. I don't know if you and your staff had the chance to read. I had the chance to read farther than The Lightning Thief in the Percy Jackson series, but there are 4 other volumes. Literally just explicitly said, you didn't even read the other ones. So the series is grounded on the premise that Percy must progress from age 12 to 16, when according to the prophecy he must make that decision that saves or destroys the world. I assume that blank would at least like to keep open the option of sequels, assuming that the first film goes well. So I think the XXS is Chris, who's Chris Columbus, who directed this film, and he'll reference later, who also directed the first 2 Harry Potter films. Starting Percy at 17 makes this undeniable. I'm also sure that Chris, it's blank, but we all know it's Chris Columbus. For the first Harry Potter movie, some in the studio argued of making the characters older to appeal to a teen audience. Fortunately, they took the long view and stayed true to the source material, which allowed them to grow a franchise. This would have been impossible if they started Harry at 17. The same principle applies here. See, Rick Riordan is just the angel. He just understands. I think they just did it because they're like, oh, Hunger Games, Twilight are doing it. What about Harry Potter, who made more money than Twilight and Hunger Games probably combined? Second, it alienates the core audience. I'm guessing those book sale numbers are important to blank because you're hoping all these kids show up at the theater. The core readership of Percy Jackson is 9 to 12. There are roughly 1 million kids that age, plus their families, who are dying to see this film because they want to see the pictures in their imagination brought to life. Many of these kids have read the books multiple times and know every detail. They are keenly aware that Percy's 12 in the first book. By making the characters seem 17, you've lost those kids as soon as they see the first movie trailer. You're signaling that this is a teen film, when the core audience is families. I understand that you want to appeal to teens because they're the most powerful demographic. And conventional wisdom, my man. Teens will not see films about kids younger than themselves. Harry Potter proved this wrong, but aside from that, deviating so significantly from the source material risk pleasing no one. Teens who know the books are meant for younger kids, and the younger kids who will be angry and disappointed that the books they love have been disoriented into a teen movie. I haven't seen the script yet, so I don't know how much the story has changed. Oh, he's gonna get hit by a bus with that. But I fear the movie will be dead on arrival with a 17-year-old lead. I spent the last 4 years touring the country talking about the movie. I've seen hundreds of thousands of kids. They are all excited about the movie, but they're also anxious. Most of these kids have no idea which studio produces which film, but everywhere I go, they say the same thing. Please don't let them do to The Lightning Thief what they did to blank. Another movie from the same producers. I don't know what that movie is, but I'm sure it's like some kids film that they screwed up. I was trying to do research on it, but I could not find it. If you do know what it was, please tell me. I'm trying to think of like other kids films or like franchises for kids that were ruined by it. But, I couldn't find anything with my Googling skills, but Don't let them change the story. These kids are the seed audience for the movie. They are the ones who will show up first with their families, then tell their friends to go or not to go, depending on how they liked it. They are looking for one thing: how faithful was the movie to the book. Make Percy 17 and that battle is lost before filming even begins. I stand one old straight white man, and that man is Rick Riordan. He literally just said everything that was a problem with these movies. Okay, so this is another email. This is a longer email. So from March 2009, notes to the producers of the Lightning Thief movie script. So this is finally when he got the script. All hell is gonna break loose. Thank you for letting me look at the script. It's very important to me that the movie does well. I also take my role very seriously as an advocate for fans of the book who have been pleading with me for 4 years, please don't let them change the story. In my view, the two go together. When I look at the children's book that have been made into movies over the past years, I see a direct correlation between how faithful an adaptation and how well it does in the box office. I'm not sure the movie industry sees this connection, as they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, but it's pretty clear to me and to young readers I talk to every day. See, when Rick Riordan and 12-year-olds can see the mistakes that Hollywood can't, that's saying a lot. These are the things I liked about this adaptation. The beginning works well. The opening scenes do a good job getting into the story quickly and setting up the characters. The first part of the story has been made more economical, but it still seems more or less faithful to the spirit of the book. The scene with the Minotaur is nicely crafted. I like the Minotaur appearing out of the field from the crowds. The gates with the words that rearrange themselves as Camp Half-Blood was a nice touch. Annabeth's first appearance was good. I like how she's made more physically challenging rival to Percy. The scene in Las Vegas is mostly good. I have few suggestions on that, but there are easy changes. I like the entrance to the underworld being the Hollywood sign. Gabe is purified at the end makes sense, and the idea of heroes toting Blank's head across the country makes me chuckle. Uma's head, because it's played by Uma Thurman. I got it. I got you, Rick. Having said that, here's the bad news. The script as a whole is terrible. I don't simply mean that it deviates from the book, though certainly it does, that to the point of being almost unrecognizable as the same story. Fans of the book will be angry and disappointed. Rick can just look at the future. He will leave the theater in droves and generate horrible word of mouth. That is an absolute given if the script goes forward as it stands now. But the bigger problem is that even if you pretend the book doesn't exist, the script doesn't work as a story in its own right. What a bird. What a damn good bird. The good news is, it's fixable. When I first read the script, I'll admit I was plunged into despair about how bad it was. If I'm intentionally trying to sabotage this project, I doubt I could have done a better job than this script. He has never literally touched a script, and he already knows he can do better. I'm sure he could do 10 times better. As I begin to make notes and look specifically at what was bothering me, I realized the script could be... I'm choosing to take heart in your assurance that the script is not finished. The one thing we can agree on, it needs help. So if you're still with me, here are my specific thoughts and suggestions for my fix. My concerns fall into 3 basic categories: age-appropriate structure, and the writing. I'll address these in the general first, then follow with specific sections and page-by-page notes. Let me just remind you all, that was the beginning of the email. We haven't even gotten to him complaining about everything. Age-appropriate content. This isn't easiest fix, but an important one. The Percy Jackson books are family-oriented. They are read primarily by the ages of 9 to 12. You will have, I hope, a large number of parents bringing their 9 to 12-year-old children to this movie, expecting to see something appropriate for that age range. As one of those parents, I would walk my kids right out of the cinema if the movie includes some language and content presently in the script. In page-by-page comments below, I've listed a few words and scenes I'm concerned about. I don't mind being a little subversive and pushing boundaries, but there is nothing radical and fresh or interesting about biatch, ass, or shit. It's a lazy attempt to make the script seem hip to teens, but such a language has been overused to the point that it doesn't even rate a cheap laugh anymore. If you go this route, you lose the entire demographic of families with younger children. School groups, who otherwise would have taken field trips to see this movie, will stay away. Neither do I believe you have to have cliche, crude language and guttier humor to engage a teen audience if you have a script that's funny, fresh, and original, which should be its core audience while gathering nothing. I'm talking with 4th and 5th graders all the time about this upcoming movie. I'd be horrified if I steered them into this movie with this kind of content. I wouldn't see it. I wouldn't let kids see it. I wouldn't recommend anyone seeing it. And I certainly wouldn't want my name associated with it. Please do not sex up my children's story. If you take out all the lines I flagged and put in something funnier and fresh, but not blatantly crude, you will have a stronger script with a wider appeal. This man is a god. Now here is another tab, structure. I have a problem with the changes for the lack of streamlining. I also understand the need to limit to the numbers of sets to stay within the budget. The script does this well in many places. You cut out the Oracle of Delphi, Dionysus, the Search for Plan, Clarice. I could go on, but those changes don't upset me because they don't affect the story's core. I'm not so understanding of adding scenes and plot lines that are completely forged into the book and make the story read like an illogical hatchet job. He's the sassiest. Oh my god. The pearls. A truly bad plot device. In the original, Percy must go across the country because he cannot fly, as Zeus would zap him out of the sky. He's got a timer, the summer solstice. He's got double motivation to find his mom and find Hades, who supposedly has the lightning bolt. He's got a goal, Los Angeles. This gives him plenty of reason to go to the underworld without tagging on some superficial quest for pearls that don't have any basis in Greek mythology. This point is where the script takes a hard left turn into weird. This is a man who basically wrote about a poodle talking to children, and he says your script is weird. Something is wrong there. The story seems to be The Lightning Thief, and it will have fans screaming in their seats and demanding a refund. Nashville the Hydra battle bugs. This entire scene, is awful and completely alien to the story. I'm guessing it was added because the set is easier to make than, say, the St. Louis Arch, or you're thinking the Hydra is more recognizable than the Chirma. Again, this is a place where you will lose the readers of the books in droves for no reason, but I think it could be easily fixed. It could also be the place to insert Ares, as you mentioned you're interested in that. I've given my ideas for below by page-by-page critique. Here we go! The original Luke is a rival for Annabeth's affections. He's older, good-looking, cool, suave, with an important backstory. In this script, Luke has become a sniving little slum ball. I'm dying. This A takes away a great source of romantic tension. B makes it much more obvious that Luke is the villain. A hell yes to that. This destroys the series storyline, in which Luke becomes Percy's archenemy and eventually morphs into Kronos. And D makes the script's ending anticlimactic. I don't think it's a bad idea to have a fight with Luke at the end, though I still think it's not as nearly as exciting with the fight of Ares. But if you have a fight with Luke, he should be an attractive, powerful enemy who wants to see our hero fight like a little creep. Why is that exciting? Persephone. Talk about Deus Ex Machina. She has no part in the original story and has been added to patch up a storyline that no longer makes sense. The ending now, with Grover getting out of the underworld offstage has no tension and no believability. I would strongly encourage you to restore the mystery of the original plot. Percy believes Hades has the lightning bolt, and he discovers along the way this cannot be true, which leads them to the realization that they've all been played by Ares. Again, I put my specific suggestions below. Kronos, which we all know they screwed up in the Sea of Monsters movie, but then again, Riordan can see the future, so I'm sure he already knows this. This is a rather important scene if you want to preserve the possibility of a franchise, as Kronos is the master villain in the series. Having said that, I can see making a script that works with only a passing mention of Kronos, but at the very least, it should be Ares manipulating Luke, and there should be some question at the end of the book. Why would Ares do that? Was he working alone? This would at least give us some opening to an introduction to Kronos later. The fight with Ares. Honestly, this is the best, most cinematic scene in the book. It's a crime to exclude it from the movie, and Ares is the best adult role in the story. You mentioned that the script is still being revised for logic and motivation, and I can understand why. The plot has been chopped up so thoroughly that it no longer holds together. As I said, I think this could be easily fixed without radically changing the scene structure that you've developed. But it would take better writing by someone who understands the story, which brings me to my last point. The writing. Oh god. The dialogues needs to sparkle. I love how we just said sparkle. I like to see it be more fresh and original and funny. Right now there are some good areas, but mostly it's flat, tired, and uninspired. It's certainly not funny. I'm not expecting lines to be lifted from the books, but it would be nice if they resembled the source material, at least in tone and spirit. One thing that defies Percy is his sense of humor. He doesn't have one in the script. Thank you! Someone realizes that Percy has no personality in this movie, but when Blank first acquired the book, I was told one of the main selling points was the humor. Why do we want to settle for a script that completely devoid the story's trademark humor? There is no heart and soul to this story. The only motivator seems to be the sex. Will Annabeth and Percy get together? That's A, not enough, and B, not very done well. Percy should doubt himself. He's conflicted about his father, he shows some resentment towards the gods and his dad, but finally has some reconciliation and realizes that he's very different from Luke. He can rise above his anger and become a hero, accept his parents, and even though they are not perfect. There needs to be a message in here what it takes to become a hero. That's literally the whole theme of the whole series. That's why it attracts to so many young kids that don't feel like they work or they aren't perfect, is because it doesn't matter who you are. It matters that you do the right thing and you're a hero. The tiniest hit of this in the script, it's nearly not as powerful enough. On the romantic front, Percy is attracted to Annabeth, but she also intimidates and annoys him at times. He's not completely driven by hormones to get this girl as he is in the script. Their relationship needs to be more Annabeth. She's meant to have a backstory with Luke. She's conflicted about her feelings towards Percy because of this. There's romance in the script is too obvious, too quick, and not nearly interesting enough. Where's the tension, the doubt, the conflict? And in terms of the series, getting them together in the first installment throws off 4 more books worth of character development. It would have been much better if they kiss at the end, but it is still very unclear whether they are actually together. It should be more of a tease. See, they did that perfectly in the Percy Jackson musical, where basically you know that you can see something there, but they don't go fully for it. And that's what I loved about it. Grover has become a simper. I can't speak. In the script. All he cares about is sex. That's such polar opposite of Book Grover. Oh my god. There's a passing reference to his need to earn his stripes, but it never feels real, and Grover never seems to worry about it. If you want to take out a whole entire subplot about Pan, okay. But Grover needs to have something more serious on the line. For instance, his reputation and his backstory have failed once before as Luke and Annabeth's protector. Percy's quest is his shot at redemption. This only takes a few lines to develop, but it would make the character more than simply comic relief. You know, I didn't hate Grover in this movie. I didn't think he was terrible, but, I do like Grover better in the book. And a lot of people disagree with me on that, but, that is not Grover's character. If you thought my Collins haven't been mirth, I would happy to revise the script myself, which you could take or leave as you please. I could do this without changing the number of scenes or the length of the script, and if necessary, I will set everything aside to turn this around very quickly. My main focus would be freshening up the dialogue, adding Percy's brand humor, and trying to tighten up the logic of the plot while keeping it simple. Note that my rough suggestions have substitute lines below that are just rough. I would take care of that to make the wording more punchier, more ethnomical. At the very least, please address my concerns and get another writer who has actually read the book and can make the necessary changes. But at this point, I really don't trust anyone but myself to do it correctly. If the script goes forward in present form, I don't need to be the Oracle of Delphi to foresee that will happen. You will lose the fans of the series 100%, but more importantly, the script will fail to impress even regular moviegoers who haven't even read the book. The movie will become another statistic in a long line of failed movies badly adapted from children's books. No one wants that, and a year from now, I would really prefer not to be saying, I told you so. Damn! He knows. He already knew. This poor man is like, that was inspired by his own son, by his own students. People bought the rights from him. He already knew this crap was down from day one. This poor man, same thing with Cassandra Clare. Those Shadowhunters TV show, they used her. This is how bad it gets when you, sell your rights. I'm so thankful the young adult book to movie adaptations today, all the authors have their full attention on it. Jenny Han was on the set of To All the Boys I Loved Before. Angie Thomas was on the set of The Hate U Give. Becky Albertalli was on the set of Love, Simon. And Julie Murphy was a part of Dumplin', because we see Percy Jackson movie, The Giver, Mortal Instruments, we're seeing those as a terrible book to movie adaptations, not making any money, not being even remembered, only as terrible adaptations, and then seeing the movies today with all those young adult books and seeing that the author would agree with it, they helped with the script, something like that. That shows how much difference it is by it. So I would also like to add that in parentheses, at the end of the blog post, Riordan added this. This was followed by 12 pages of notes going through the script line by line. They did not accept my offer to rework the script. This man took his time to write these 2 emails and went through the script, 12 pages of just everything wrong with it. I just don't like it that fans are think that he's in charge of it. He's definitely not. By this email, you can see that no one listened to him and no one, understood what he was saying. That's terrible. And I know that you guys want this animated series, and I totally understand that. I totally got that. But just be accepted of what we have now. We have a musical. We have a Percy Jackson musical that basically takes everything that Rick said here that he wanted from an adaptation and put it into a musical. You've been waiting for. If you want to have stuff that you rather do than watch the Percy Jackson movies, I have a video talking about stuff like that. But this is more sad than I thought it was. I might actually cry because, this is, they treated him so terribly. He's not the only one going through this, too. He basically said a lot of children's novels this has been through, so. So thank you guys for watching this video. It might be in a little long, crazy video, but I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below some problems you have with the movie. If you want another Percy Jackson adaptation, we don't know. See you guys later. Bye.